Hello friends, today we'll be discussing on a very important topic, how to maintain balance in life. Generally, for a person to maintain a balance between material and spiritual life becomes difficult, but Bhagavad Gita has an answer to all things. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Anyone who is balanced in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. So today we'll be seeing how to balance material and spiritual life, how to know how much is too much and how less is too less, how much time I need for myself, for my family, for others, for society, for nation, for the country, for the world and for the universe and for God. So what is material and spiritual life? Material life basically means our duties towards oneself and others, our prescribed duties, our occupational duties and our constitutional duties. The constitutional duties means duty as the spirit soul. Occupational duty is the occupation into which we are and our work in the society. And prescribed duty means our different roles and caps which we have to take as a father, mother, sister, brother, family, countries, ideal citizen and a responsible person in this world. So there is family, professional, social, national and international responsibilities. There are the needs for roti, kapda, makan, which are the basic body requirements. There is always this thing of ye dil mange more. We need more and more comforts as life progresses ahead and our salary keeps on increasing and happiness depends on our so-called accumulated assets and external factors. But what is spiritual life? Spiritual life is the essence. Material body and the spirit soul. We know that we are not this body. I am in this body and this body is only for this lifetime. What goes to me after death is my dharma, my karma and my bhakti, the devotion which I have practiced in this life. And this balance of material and spiritual life is very vital because this journey is like a train journey. And if you are going in a train, will you make a house in the train? If someone gets cement and bricks and start making a house, you will say, are you mad? But we are doing the same thing. We don't know when our station will come. So we need to maintain the balance in our material and spiritual life because our station can come at any time. Material life means becoming financially stable with good savings, children settled, we retire nicely and then we think when the right time will come, when I become old, then I will practice spiritual life. My dear friends, don't do this mistake because you don't know when the right time will come. Death can come at any time. You do the right thing now and the right time will come, whether it is this life or the next life. It's really not good to compartmentalize our life in material and spiritual life. Why? Because life is not a watertight compartment. Because life is not a black and white. Life is not a Boolean algebra, 0 and 1. Life means decimals. Life means gray zones. And we should also have the understanding that spiritual life doesn't mean that I shave up my hair, wear a gerua vastra, take a kamandalu and retire to the Himalayas. No, that is not the point. Generally, our life is like a A4 size paper in which there are many centers. Job center, spouse center, family center, career center, me center. But how many circles can you fit in a A4 size paper? Of 5 to 10 centimeters, maybe you can fit 5 to 7 circles. But if you make God the center of your life, whatever you do it for God, then you will be able to see that if you make Krishna as the center of your life, you can fit everything in your life. We should not think that spiritual and material life are like two boats going in different directions. My one leg is in one boat and spiritual life other leg is in other boat, then you will finally fall in the river. The nature of this world as that is that we want to behave like pendulum. Either we are completely material or we are completely spiritual. No, that is not said in the Bhagavad Gita, because Krishna told Arjun, do your duty of fighting the battle of Kurukshetra, but don't do it thinking that you are the doer, but Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. Think about me, know why you are doing what, and that you need to do. Why? Because you need to do it for me and for my pleasure, for Krishna's pleasure. What is the right understanding about material and spiritual life? We cannot run away from our material duties. Spiritual and material life go hand in hand, just like two rail lines in the railway track. In the Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, 7th shloka, it is mentioned, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yuddhacha mai arpit mano buddhir mame vishyeshi asankshayah. Therefore, O Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duties of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me, your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without a doubt. What a big thing Krishna is telling. It is not recommended even by Krishna that one should give up his prescribed engagements and duties. One needs to continue his material duties and at the same time remember Krishna, because we are not at such a high level that we can completely keep ourselves 24 hours engaged in Krishna. Some people, like hypocrites, try to artificially give up their duties and act like a sannyasi, which is said as Markat Vairagya, or a detachment of a monkey. A monkey can show temporary detachment, but it cannot show permanent detachment. Gradually cultivating spiritual practices while engaging in material duties and not shifting into spiritual life abruptly, but slowly and slowly as we purify, that is most important. Basically, we need to understand that nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to Krishna, and thus by realizing our true identity as a part and parcel of God, we should act in a way as if one person said that act as if you are the doers, but know that Krishna is the doer. And what is balance? Balance is like the four wheels of a car: PQ, EQ, IQ and SQ. Physical quotient, intelligence quotient, emotional quotient and spiritual quotient. And even if one of the tire has less air, the car won't able to move smoothly. It is like a girl walking on a rope with a stick. She has to maintain the proper balance, otherwise she will fall down from the rope. Similarly, can you add more salt in food? No. There has to be an exact balance, na jada na kam. Exactly how much salt has to be there, that is very much required to understand the right balance in spiritual life. Here I would like to give an example that suppose you want to fill a big jar of water in which you need to put big rocks, small rocks and sand. Will you put the water first and then put the big rocks? No. First put the big rocks, then small rocks, then sand and then water. My dear friend, what is your big rocks in spiritual life? What is your big rocks in material life? So please understand, rather than prioritizing your schedules, it is important to schedule your priorities. What is the most important thing in your life? Are you looking at a life just 50-60 years and you think I've made a big house, I've settled my family, I've pleased him? Oh my dear friend, to get your daughter married, you took 20 years. What about you when the soul will leave the body? So do the most important things first. So in the time management matrix, quadrant 2 is most important, in which things are important but not urgent. But my dear friends, if you don't do the things which are important but not urgent today, tomorrow that will become urgent. Like your health, if you're neglecting, you will one day land up in the hospital. And similarly, if in your life you never got time for spirituality and all of a sudden death comes, what will be your next destination. You are nicely sitting and enjoying in the train, eating away, smiling away, whistling away, and all of the sudden the station comes. You have to get down and you have not prepared yourself to go to the station and go to the city. What are we going to do? And that is the importance to understand the urgency of spiritual life. A for association of devotees, B for reading books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, C for chanting of the japa and the holy name, and D for taking Krishna Prasadam. Yes, I agree that earning a livelihood is important, earning money is important. In today's world, money, job, career, growth, these are very important things, because until you have some sufficient money to keep the body and soul together, how can you practice spiritual life if your mind is not peaceful, if your body is not healthy? So we need to earn sufficient money to make sure that you are able to be self-aware and to be conscious. But if you are not self-aware and conscious, how can you be Krishna conscious? And if we need to be self-aware, we need to have that basic peace and happiness in life, for which the basic amount of money is required to live a happy and satisfied life. Now one may say, sir, I understand everything, but now I am young, now I am energetic, now I am powerful. A person said, at youth, a person uses his health for wealth. At old age, his wealth for health, and at the time of death, he loses both. So we need to have the proper balance in spiritual life. A person may say, after 60, 65, when I'm 70, when my grandchildren are married and all my worldly duties are over, I will that time give spiritual life importance. Tell me one thing, my dear friend. If you love someone, do you give him fresh gifts or old gifts? Do you give him fresh food or old food? Do you give him a fresh flower or an old flower? God is the most important thing in your life. And you want to give him the old flower when you are 70 years, when you don't have time and energy to do anything, that you want to give to God. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatha mam prapadyante stham sthataiva bhajamyaham. Whatever and the way you do things to me, I will also reciprocate accordingly. If you give your last time to Krishna, Krishna will also not give himself first to you. So we need to identify these big rocks in our life and take the necessary action steps. We need to give the most importance to spirituality in our life, to our reading, hearing, chanting, and understanding about life and death. Nahi to we will become like dhobi ka kutta, na ghar ka na ghat ka. So, it is important to understand that for a happy life, there has to be proper eating, sleeping, recreation and work. And if anything goes more or less, your professional life and your personal life may get disturbed, and that will lead to guilt, and you may feel that I'm not giving enough time to God. What should I do? I'm just in my material life, and that will take you in a guilt consciousness, and it may become difficult. Haath rahe kaam mein, man rahe Ram mein. Do your duties. Don't run away. But remember Krishna, remember Lord Ram in your mind. Whatever you do, so I tell people, before starting your work, remember God once. After you end your work, remember God once, and in between, at least remember God once. And slowly, whatever you do, you will be always able to remember God. As you practice work in this material world, dharma, artha, kama and moksha, right? When you earn money and have some enjoyment, then finally you will get detachment in this material work. Detachment cannot be cultivated artificially. Like when people see a burning dead body, they say, bas, enough is enough. Now I will remember God. But that lasts for how many days, my dear friend? Just 2 days, 3 days, and he is again back to square A. And we need to put efforts in this direction. And when we balance our home as well as our office and our heart, when there is a balance between the head and the heart, then we can actually practice balance in spiritual life. When our body, mind and thoughts, our feelings and emotions all are at sync, and when whatever we do is for some siddhir haritoshanam, for the pleasure of Krishna. You want to eat, cook and offer to God. You want to run, go and run to the temple. You want to dress the deities beautifully. You want to fight with people who are against Sanatan Dharma. You want to paint the beautiful pictures of Krishna, and there is not even a single activity, my dear friend, which you cannot do for God. So please put your ideas and comments in the comment box as how you can balance your material and spiritual life. It was a pleasure talking to all of you. Thank you very much.